Alrighty, welcome back to my YouTube channel, ladies and gentlemen. How we doing? Happy Saturday. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with me, and I appreciate that. Anyways, this is a milestone for me. I managed to set over six figures worth of information using white magic, and we'll get into exactly what that is. And this is an advanced topic, so if you're new to sales, you have no idea what's going on, you don't even know what a set is, go watch my last video. All right. So just in case y'all think I'm capping, like I do every single video, I got to show the proof, right? So we got 64 G's cash collected on my right, 35 G's cash collected on my left. Show rate's pretty good. That amounts to the number you see right here. And this is a little bit of everything that I've done. Boom, boom, boom. That's pretty cool. Boom, boom. Boom, bada bing. And, this is kind of everything that I've done within the past like 45 days. So, yeah, I'm not lying. This is real information, all right? Real information. And this is honestly a response to the last video I had because when I was explaining how this all worked, a lot of people said it was a pyramid scheme, it was a poverty speed run. I was a snake oil salesman, and I was like, I mean, I'm genuinely trying to help people figure this out. But maybe it was inspiring for me to actually, teach people how like sales can actually be a good thing. It doesn't have to necessarily be like a scam or a pyramid scheme. But anyways, let's get into it. So high level view um, is the info industry, just like any industry, you can think of it as like an ocean. Okay, so the info industry right now is collectively gathered $342.4 billion, and you can go to my last video to like get receipts or whatever. But it's a lot of money, right? A lot of freaking money. A lot of people wanting information, but there's a lot of other businesses that are trying to funnel this water into their well so they can actually eat, they can drink, right? So there's a business right here, business right there, business right there. So this is kind of how it looks like from a very simple high level overview, and they're all trying to funnel um, this water into their well so they can drink, they can actually take care of themselves or whatever. So yeah, that's it. But just like any pipeline, bottlenecks will occur. It's just what happens, man. Like things get kinked up, things get backed up. You know what I mean? It happens. It happens in computers. It happens with water. It happens with business. Okay, so these are called like structural bottlenecks. So pretend like you're trying to funnel, water from the pool of the water into the pipe. Things happen, right? Things happen. So this could manifest itself as outdated scripts. You know what I mean? Cultural tonal disconnect. You could refresh the language. Um, this could show up as pressure buildup, which is the team handoff misalignment. The leads get rushed. It's high pressure, burnout prone sales culture. Let's go, 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 and then everyone gets burnt out. Um, there's ways to fix that as well. Let's see what we got here. There could be a disconnected pipeline, like a wrong flow. You could be sourcing traffic from the wrong source, and it doesn't even align with what you have to sell. I mean, inconsistent tone in the sales process, from the marketing process, people get confused. Like, um, and the way you can fix that is you can align the funnel voice to end. Just make it cohesive, right? Make the message from top to bottom the exact same, so people don't get confused. Another way is clogging. So the friction in the process, maybe like people's forms don't work, or their website crashes, or there could be emotional resistance there. So people hop on the phone and they might necessarily not be ready. They might feel afraid because you might be pressuring them a little bit, or it's too overwhelming for them to get through. So you could simplify the journey, right? These are all structural bottlenecks. And lastly, there could just be cracks, right, in the bottleneck, right? There could be leaky messaging, poor lead nurturing, unqualified leads entering. And what you do is you tighten the copy. You can tighten the sales team, tighten the scripts, make sure everything is just going in the same direction. Okay. But not only are there structural bottlenecks, but there are also human bottlenecks, which are AKA called objections, right? And this is like the main thing that you need to understand as a sales rep. It's honestly the main bottleneck that you need to understand as a business is objections, right? Like they really kind of want it. They're they're debating whether or not they want to do it, but they're kind of scared. They're kind of hesitant. And this is the true moneymaker right here, because in order to solve these bottlenecks, oh, this is a true moneymaker right here, because money is always hiding behind the objection. Okay, it doesn't matter what it is. I'm fearful. I'm hesitant. I'm afraid. Like they're there on the phone with you for a reason. So if you can get behind the objection, you will find out the truth, and when you find out the truth, you find the money. So in order to solve these bottlenecks, we need to know where they come from like a human perspective. We're not talking structurally speaking anymore. I'm not talking like, code or website. We're talking about human beings. Okay. So this is my interpretation of it. So boom. We all come into this world pure and free. All right. Looking like this. All right. Happy, smiling, dancing. You know what I mean? We're having a good time, right? We're having a good time. Just like God intended us. Right. So, but with an uninterrupted energy current, right, it's going to look something like this, right? So we have source energy coming from, the divine, right? Heavenly Father, whatever you want to call it, doesn't matter. Comes in, straight shot, right? We get that energy, we get charged up, and we're feeling good, right? That's why kids are always so happy, because there's nothing really interrupting their current, right? But suffering is an inevitable part of life. So naturally, we protect ourselves from it. So this could be war, this could be famine, this could be your girlfriend broke up with you, this could be your parents are projecting their emotional trauma onto you. It doesn't matter what it is. It could be something, right? So we don't want that to flow into our spirit because it hurts, right? So what do? We try to protect ourselves from it. We try to like hunker down, um, you know, create bottlenecks within our own being because we don't want that pain to flow through our vessel. But in doing so, we create resistance to life, which creates all sorts of nasty things like entanglement with others, seeking validation, love, identity outside of ourselves, emotional samskars, and that's more so like a Indian Hinduism kind of angle. But if you don't aren't familiar with that, it's completely fine. It's all applicable, right? But it's like past traumas, unresolved relationships, and emotions. This also, manifests itself as a false identity, confusing your roles or the mind with the true self, thinking that you're supposed to be a doctor when you're really supposed to be a dentist, or you're supposed to be an artist when your parents tricked you into thinking you should be a barber or something. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like we all get these roles that are onto us that don't really align with who we are. Um, and lack of internal infrastructure. This is really big, honestly. There's no practices to stabilize or uplift their energy. So this is how people really get stuck in perpetual states of depression, anxiety, because they don't have an internal framework to actually get to the point where they can, you know, have that clean line, right, all the way down. And power leakage, obviously, this is probably what most people do. They leak their energy. I do the same thing. I struggle with that as well. People please, compulsively like to fix stuff. I like to rescue people that can only rescue themselves, and all of this kind of makes these knots in our system, not even knowing, right, and it makes us unfulfilled. That's exactly what that looks like. So ignored unfulfillment, or like an event that just happened to you that was just so unfulfilling, it really manifests itself or turns or evolves into trauma, and this interrupts the current of energy that goes through our system. So a clean current obviously would be, light comes in, energy comes in, it circulates throughout the body, and then it comes out. But trauma, it's like a short circuit. If you're not familiar with what a short circuit is, basically it's the flow of energy is either coming in way too fast, or it bypasses a certain um, point in the current, that the energy gets misconstrued, or it gets the ratio or the voltage gets too powerful, and the body just short circuits. Okay, and a short circuit is basically like a system shutdown, or the light bulb just if you ever experienced the light bulb just exploding out of nowhere, that's like a short circuit basically. But this happens within our body as well. So if you touch somebody's trauma, obviously they're going to get triggered. That's what a trigger is. Like you're touching, you're asking questions, you're going into places that they might not want you to go, and then they get triggered, right? They lash out. So this could manifest itself as if you're on a sales call with somebody and you ask them, "Are you ready to invest in yourself?" And they're like, "I mean, I kind of want to, but I don't know." Like it's hitting this knot, this resistance within their system, because you're reminding them of a time where it didn't work before, right? So they get hesitant, obviously. And your job is honestly to like clean out your system so you can actually unravel their knots and their system. But there's a whole art to that. So they're really trusting you to press these buttons right within their biocomputer, so they can actually make a change because they really want to. So it's a lot of power on your end, and it's also a lot of responsibility, right? You don't want to power trip like Plankton here. Don't want to do that. So you might say the sales rep has been given the role of a wizard. Okay, this is where the magic is gonna come in. So you're guiding the hero, which is the prospect or the lead, through their journey. So they go through the CRM, they're in their pipeline, you pick up, you ask them a bunch of questions. They're the hero, right? You got to treat them like that. In their movie, you're just a wizard. You're just guiding them, like, what's going on? What do you need help with? Okay, like, I think you should do this. I think you should do that. And you're guiding them through their hesitation and their fears. That's all you're really doing. And this is obviously akin to the hero's journey. Now, if you're not familiar with that, I mean, it's fascinating how every single story, whether it's in your life, whether it's in movies, and even animals, right? We're all going through the hero's journey over and over again. And it starts as the first stage is separation. This is a very simple understanding, but the first stage is separation. So I'm here, I have a desire, I want to go over there. So now there's two different selves that have, I've created that split apart, and there's a sense of separation. So there's a struggle there, right? I want to get to the other side of that fence, of that plateau. So your role in this stage is to clarify the current struggle. Like, what exactly is going on? Like, why are you struggling? Why do you feel this sense of like tension within yourself? And obviously, that's the next step. So as soon as they feel that separation, think of it as like a rubber band, right? There's a self that I am, there's a self that I want to be, and there's a tension, right? A pull there, right? And that's painful. So this is what they're experiencing when they're on the call. Otherwise, they wouldn't be on the call. So your role is to really help them feel the cost of inaction. So if they're afraid of taking that leap, of bridging that gap, but they're still holding on to this other self, the tension is obviously going to get wider and wider, wider. It's going to hurt even more. So you have to make them see, like, yo, if you don't change, right, you're never going to be able to. The rubber band is never really going to be able to snap back, right, and you're going to feel that sense of, okay, I did it. You know what I mean? And then, the third stage is like, okay, I think I could do this, right? But you got to hype them up, right? This is the stage where, like, okay, you put that desire in their system, but you hype them up by showing them what's possible. Like, look, this person did this person did this, they're no different than you. You could actually do it too, right? Show them what's possible so they can actually feel like that rubber band can, come back, so they can feel that sense of relaxation. And the final stage is where the resolution, where that self that they are and the self they want to be finally unify as one self. And there's a resolution, right? Their internal tension has been resolved. And that is when you present the offer as a bridge. I have a way for you to get to who you are, to who you want to be. And if you walk down this path, your two selves will actually collapse into each other and you will feel a sense of peace. That's essentially how this works. Oh, so to you, and if you are into sales, if you really want to know how this all works, I recommend you screenshot this because this took me so long to figure out, and this is like the simplest way I can really explain this to you guys. So you're on the other side of the phone trying to see what this person is, but the first step is just finding the gap. Where's their dream? Like, where's their 10 at? Like, where is, like, bro, everything is going well. I'm happy. I'm satisfied. Like, where is it? Right? You subtract that by the reality. Okay, so where are you at right now? Oh, okay. So you got to get the lowest that you possibly can. Otherwise, the gap won't be big enough. So you almost have to dig into their pain. Like, what's really going on? Like, why do you hate your job so much? Oh, like, you got fired. Like, how'd that happen? Like, oh, you got laid off. Damn, that must suck. Like, you got to really dive into them so they get to the point where, like, they feel like they're at a two, right? And your offer is the difference between their dream and their reality. And the bigger the gap, obviously, the more they're going to see how valuable it is. So in this example, like, you want it to be ideally like an 8 or a 9. Otherwise, they're not going to pay thousands of dollars for it because there's no point, right? So now that you see the gap and they see the gap, step 2 is just handling their objections, their hesitations, right? So you bridge it, right? Because it's a journey for them, right? They're not going to want to or feel like they can do it on their own because it's a long ass journey. So handling your objections honestly is about reminding them of their reality, their two that they just told you that they hated, and inspiring them to follow their dream, right? You can kind of fill in the gaps a little bit, but those are the two levers that you want to pull, right? Okay. Because you literally just told me that you hated your job and you were working 12 hours a day and you hated it. So, what's going to happen if you just stay at that job? I'm probably going to get burnt out, or I'm probably going to, be depressed, right? Okay. So perfect. You don't want to be there. And I just showed you what's possible. There's a version of you that's not working 12 hours a day, that's sitting, making money from his laptop, that's happy, healthy, and satisfied. Like, don't you want to be that person? Oh yeah, of course. So what do you think you have to do? Oh, I have to go up that ladder. You know what I mean? It's very like that's literally it's literally that simple, right? It's all psychology. But this is how it looks to them. The hero, right? You're the wizard. This is how it looks to the hero, okay? And if you can understand that this is how it looks to them, you will understand like where objections even come from, right? Because their reality is right here, and their dream is almost like they're climbing up a big ass mountain in their minds. This is really where they're at in their minds, right? So you get clear on their dream. Oh, what's the mountaintop for them, right? What's the 10? Get clear in their reality. What's the baseline? And the offer is obviously the trail between their reality and their dream. But also they're going to get a little afraid, right? Because they've never done this before. So you objection handle, and basically objection handling is making sure and giving them reassurance that they're not going to fall off the edge of the mountain. They're not going to fall off the side of the cliff, right? You give them reassurance that it's actually going to happen. You could do that in the form of guarantees. I don't really recommend that. You could do that in the form of like just showing them like literally this is 100 other people who actually did it. You can even just hype them up, right? You can stroke their ego a little bit to get them to actually understand that like, yo, you could really do this. Like you're a capable human being. You know what I mean? So that's it in a nutshell. And I kind of move this. And you handle objections by teaching. This is what it is because they're in the dark. You handle objections by teaching them, helping them make sense of their journey. Right? They're in the safari. You're the guy who's been through the jungle thousands of times. You're chilling. You're telling them where to stop, where to look. Like you should do this at this time. This and that. You need to be like chill, bro. Like the best sales reps, in my opinion, are the guys who are chilling. They don't react to like their trauma or the jumpiness. Like they're like, oh yeah, oh interesting, okay, but have you think about this? Oh yeah, well we're gonna go over here when that time is right. You know what I mean? Like you're the guide, you're the tour guide, right? And if you can help them make sense of their journey, they're actually going to take the journey. No one is going to go down a path that they can't make sense of unless they're a child, right? It's crazy. Like I've seen a kid literally walk into walk into water. He thought he was going to walk on water because he didn't understand how physics worked or gravity worked. It was insane. But as adults, right, we're so primed to have these we need logical explanations for everything. Otherwise, we're not going to do it. Because like, who would do that? Only a fool would do that. So we need to educate them. But the ability to educate also comes with the ability to deceive. This is where the magic is going to come in. All right. So there's light wizards and there's dark wizards, right? And they handle objections in various different ways. And the light wizard is the energetic alchemist. Okay. That's what we're going to call it. And the dark wizard is the tactic technician. That's just what we're going to call it for all intents and purposes. Okay. So this is, the white magic doing his white magic stuff, right? Clean energy. And we got the dark wizard right here doing a little spooky dooky stuff. But they both are able to wield energy and transmute people's psychology so they can actually make an action. But there's different ways they like to go about it. So this is the white wizard's medium of choice. Okay, white magic is what we're getting to. And from Wikipedia, white magic has traditionally been referred to the use of supernatural powers for magic for selfless purposes. Practitioners of white magic have been given titles as wise men or women healers, white witches, or wizards. Many of these people claim to have the ability to do such things because of the knowledge or power that was passed on to them through hereditary lines or by some event later in their lives. White magic was practiced through healing, blessings, charms, incantations, prayers, songs. White magic has been benevolent counterpart of malicious black magic, and we'll get into that. So these like incantations, charms, prayer, songs, think about it in the terms of sales. It's just a script, right? You're giving them a certain thread of information so they can weave their psychology into it so they can actually do it. So if you do this ethically, you take their trauma, you take their short circuit, and you actually clean that shit out. Like all this trauma that you're going through, like I understand it, I see it, But here's a better idea. Like here's psychological medicine you can actually put into your system, so you can actually do the thing that you told me that you wanted to do. And then on the other side of that is this guy's medium of choice, which is obviously the antithesis, which is black magic. Black magic has been referred for centuries to bring about various outcomes and results. It can be used to protect oneself from harm, control certain events, gain further knowledge or understanding of the universe, or even summon spirits, depending on the practitioner's intent and willingness to accept the consequences. It can be used. It can be used for both good and ill. Through the practice of black magic, one can influence people's thoughts and feelings in order to achieve a desired outcome. The power of suggestion is a strong tool that can be employed through ritual practices such as spell casting or incantations, right? Same thing. On a higher level, practitioners may use their abilities to manipulate the forces of nature like wind, rain, in order to bring about a change in the physical world. In some cases, black magic has been connected with acts such as cursing people or manipulating them into doing something they wouldn't normally do, right? Ethical practitioners stay away from this because it can create a negative effect, right? As these could lead to serious karmic repercussions. Those who adhere to moral standards refrain from using a supernaturally derived power for personal gains or revengeful purposes. So I say all that to say that there are people out there, obviously, there are bad actors who are using their ability to manipulate words and tone and their power, their essence to actually use people as puppets so they can actually put more money in their pocket. And obviously, if you know better, there's like I said, there's serious karmic repercussions. Like that shit is going to come back onto you. You're going to get a chargeback in the form. It's going to manifest as a chargeback. It's going to manifest as getting a bad review. You might not be able to sleep at night, right? You are perpetuating. You are perpetuating trauma within this human society, and it's not good, right? It's not good. So, let's see if I can finish this video before the laptop dies. But this is what white magic looks like in sales. So it's to educate, and to educate means to bring out. So white magic in high ticket sales is about releasing energy, creating alignment. So this approach could be sales as a service, helping clients access transformation or value with value they're aligned with, right? I want this thing. Let me help you get it. Focus on authenticity, transparency, and mutual benefit. We want win-win situations. You might experience this as them listening deeply to a prospect's needs, empowering the client, giving free value, and you're releasing positive energy into the conversation. You're raising the vibration of the interaction. You're aligning with the client's higher self or long-term vision. That's the point. That's why people pay. That's why people feel safe on sales calls. Obviously, this is the opposite. So black magic, you will feel like someone is deceiving you. Instead of you bringing out your energy, they want to seal it away. They want to manipulate your will so they can actually, control you into doing what they want you to do. So this is like scarcity tactics, pressure, fear of missing out, guilt or shame mechanism, seeking control rather than consent. If you don't buy this today, our competitors will leave you behind. Intentionally overpromising, right? Mirroring, using, practices like neural linguistic programming or energy techniques that override the client's resistance without their awareness. That's some dark shit, right? Right? Techniques to override the client's resistance, and if you're not aware enough, they could do a bunch of things that go over your head, and you might not even know what's going on. You buy it, and you're like, how the hell did I just buy this thing? Right? You're sealing the prospect's free will inside of a high pressure funnel. That's not good. It's not good, right? I mean, you might make a little money out of that, but it's not good for you. It's not good for them. It's a net negative in society. Okay, we don't want to do that. Obviously, that's for control. So this is a deeper breakdown of how like a dark or white wizard, a light or dark wizard might handle objections. So how they view the objection. A knot of blocked energy ready to be unraveled. Okay, you feel hesitant. Let's actually go into that knot. Let's explore it, and let's actually heal you in this process so we can free that energy up, and you can actually do what you said you wanted to do. And they see, the dark wizard sees an objection as a nuisance to be resisted, bypassed, or dominated. Let's not talk about that. You don't have to worry about that. No, it's not really important. Like that tension that you're feeling within yourself that says like, I think I should get off of the sales call. That's nothing. Don't worry about it, right? It's not good, right? Energetic approach, attunement, right? The dark wizard uses pressure, Timing here. Moves when the tension is felt. So if you are clean within your vessel, if you sense tension, that can only be the other person's tension, right? It's not like it's not your tension, it's their tension. So when you feel it, you need to actually address it, right? Otherwise, like it'll go unspoken, it'll go under the rug, and everything needs to be brought out into the light. That's how you sell cleanly. Um, and for the dark wizard, you kind of wait until it's spoken, and if their objection isn't necessarily verbalized, then the dark wizard might glaze over it, right? They might feel the tension, but they just disregard it. You know what I mean? And again, that's how people buy things and they don't really want to buy in the first place. Language. So I feel something underneath. Can we explore it? Again, this is like feeling attention. The white wizard is trying to bring up everything, all this mess, all this gunk, is trying to bring it out into the light so we can burn it, so we can actually move forward. And again, let's not focus on that. Uh, you know what I mean? That's not what really matters. Like your tension and your hesitation. That's not what really matters. Let's focus on the money. Let's focus on the goal, right? And these are more things, man. I mean, energetic outcome. The buyer feels seen, heard, unrushed. You ever feel like you've been rushed on a sales call, or you feel like you've been rushed into buying something? It's not good. It's not good. The buyer feels boxed in or manipulated. On the other side, right? Let me see. So money flows as a byproduct of alignment. So again, like if you want to make money ethically, you have to help people get to the destination they told you that they wanted to go. That's how you get. It's a byproduct of that, right? But if money is the target, you're not trying to help people get to where they're going. You just want the money. You're gonna say anything you can to help them, like pull out the credit card. Okay. So, let's see here if I can charge my laptop. It's not working. It's all right. But you guys get the picture, right? So if you're in the presence of a light wizard, right, they want to set you free. This is kind of how it feels, right? They want to raise your awareness. Okay. Are you ready to invest into yourself? They revealed all your trauma, they unearthed it. They used strategic empathy, right? When they felt something come up, they addressed it. When your tone of voice shifted, they wanted to address it. It's almost like you're talking to a therapist, honestly. Your trauma is soothed. You're like, oh, okay, this guy really gets me. Right? Thank you. And obviously you want to buy it, right? Are they using white magic to dispel evil, aka deception? Because the light wizard understands the right information always leads to the right action. Okay, you want to give them as much information they need to make the decision for themselves. Um, and this style stems from them having a high opinion of other human beings. They value them just as much as they value themselves. It's eye to eye. I'm not better than you. You're not better than me. I'm just another human being that knows a little bit more than you, and we can actually help you get to that point. Okay. When you're in the presence of a dark wizard, they want to trap you, aka lower your awareness, right? Are you ready to invest into yourself? Yeah. Okay, let's do it. You know what I mean? Like they know they kind of tricked you into doing it, and you might be afraid of like actually standing up for yourself. This kind of stuff really works on people who have low sense of self worth, right? It's not gonna work in everybody, obviously, but if you do have low self esteem, you will fall prey to this kind of stuff. So tactical disregard is their main weapon of choice. So like I said, the hesitation, the tightness in their chest, and all this fear, right? They have ways of dancing around it with their language, and they know exactly what to say to help you ignore it. But obviously, your trauma has been provoked. But again, if you feel like you're not able to stand up for yourself, you might actually just fall victim to it. So they use dark magic to cast evil, aka deception, because the dark wizard thinks the wrong or less information is controlled action. So the less they know, the better for you, right? Because you can control the stage, you can control the outcome. That's how they think. They have pretty low opinion of others. So, in conclusion, sales is about getting them to open up on their own without squeezing them open. You ever feel like you're on a sales call and they're trying to squeeze it open? Or you ever feel like you've been in a relationship, they try to squeeze love out of you or squeeze, these good feelings out of you? It doesn't feel good. It feels like you're being used, right? Um, and what you really want to do if you're in the presence of someone who's like ethical, they get you to open up on your own by asking you one question at a time so you can actually actualize your potential, not be their puppet. That's not the point. Not the point. So this is probably the deepest we're going to go, but energetically, this is how our systems work. We all have different energy centers, and you think this is some woo woo stuff. I don't know what to tell you. Like, this is a real thing. Okay, so we all have energy, 7 different energy centers. Obviously, it gets way more complex, but there's 7 different energy centers within the human being that regulates, facilitates, and channels energy. These are called chakras. So there's 7 of them, right? So there's a crown, there's a third eye chakra. It governs thought, intuition. There's the heart, governs love and acceptance. Sacral chakra, it governs creativity, abundance. Root chakra, it governs trust, grounding, feeling like you're at home. Solar plexus governs vitality. Throat chakra governs obviously communication and expression. So all of these are either opening, they're either open or they're closed or they're kind of clogged or they're not running properly or they are running properly. And depending how well the system is functioning is depending on how well you're going to be able to manifest and actually act and create in the world. Okay, so this is essentially how you do it if you're on a sales call, and you can screenshot this. This is how I collected over $100,000 in cash. So you literally start with the sacral, right? Why'd you fill out a form in the first place, right? Like, where is this coming from? Like, what have you felt that has made you want to actually do this? Okay, so I work for a company that helps people create clothing brands for themselves, and this is the questions I would ask them. So you want to go into their dream. Let's see if I can. Okay, so you want to go into their dream. You want to awaken their third eye, right? So you want to go up here because if they can't open up their third eye, if they can open up their mind to actually see what's possible, then they're not going to want to. They can't act on something they don't think is possible, right? So you ask them a bunch of stuff like, "Oh, what's your brand identity? Like, oh, what kind of pizza are you trying to put out? Oh, what kind of revenue? How much do you want to be making like 36 months from now? Oh, why is that? Oh, that's pretty sick. Okay, that's because you want to do this, this, and this." And what you do, you're using white magic or using your language to actually open up their third eye, right? So they can actually see it. Wow, okay, like you get in to see that's actually possible. And then you bring them down to the heart. Okay, how do they feel? Because your heart chakra is your relationship with reality. How do you feel about reality? So you bring it down to like, okay, where you are right now? Oh, you have a job? Oh, where do you work? Okay, how long you been there? Oh man, you work 12 hours a day. Like, how's that been? Okay, man, how much are they paying you? Oh, do you have anything set aside? Or like, oh, okay, why do you want to? So you get into their pain, you get into their reality, like where are they at right now, right? So again, it makes this gap. So if you just walk them through this dream world of like where they wanted to be, right? They're like, wow, yeah, I really want to do that. Yeah, you think that's possible? Of course it is. Like, and then you bring them down to the heart. It's like, oh, where you at right now? So then you build up this gap between the third eye and the heart. But you need to do this. You need to help them feel that pain because one, you're getting them to open up from top to bottom. And if you open their whole system up, then there's going to be no fear. Like there's going to be, obviously there might be a little bit of fear, but they're going to return to that childlike nature of them being trusting because their whole system is opened up. And as adults, we walk around unconsciously with our systems closed up because we're trying to protect ourselves all the time. But these questions actually help them open up. Okay. And then you get into the solar plexus, which is around the stomach right here. And it's like, okay, well, what exactly do you need help with? And the solar plexus is all about like taking action, making decisions. So if you ask them like, what do you think you need help with? They're going to be able to make a better decision on whether or not this is going to work for them. So they can tell you, oh, I need help with this, this, and this. Then they know exactly, okay, when they're on the next call, they'll be able to make a firm decision because they already know what they need help with because you kind of walked them through it already. And then you reassure them because if this is true, like you tell them like, that's definitely something we can help with. Most people are dealing with that same kind of stuff. I mean, it is true. Like if you have a thriving business, right? Like most people come in dealing with the same kind of stuff. And the last question is, so if we could help you, right, get to that dream of making 6 figures a month, you open up their third eye again, make them see that dream. So you wouldn't have to be at the warehouse anymore for 12 hours a day, right? You create that gap. This is the best time to ask if they're willing to invest or not, because like you made them open up and then you're tying the offer to the dream, the gap between the dream and the reality. So if we could help you become that person that you really want to be so you don't have to be that person that you are right now, would you be willing to invest within the next 1 to 2 days? Okay, this makes it real for them. Don't say invest. Don't say soon. Don't say like in the future, say within the next 1 to 2 days, because the root chakra is all about anchoring. It's all about bringing it down right now, right? It's all about grounding something. So this 1 to 2 days is so important because it actually makes it be like, oh shit, like, okay, damn, that's actually real. Yeah, 1 to 2 days. And this will weed out a lot of people who aren't necessarily serious, they're not necessarily committed, or it'll actually confirm that this person is actually committed and they're willing to make an investment. And again, everyone's offer is different, but like for this particular offer, you could ask if they don't give you a number. You could say, could you give me a ballpark of something you'd be comfortable with, just so we can be on the same page? And they might say 2K, they might say 4K. And if it's less than 2, obviously everyone's offer is different. You tell them, how much it might be. Is that doable for you? Would it put you in a tight spot? Oh, do you have a savings, credit? You know what I mean? You kind of deep dive into their financial situation. But after you are qualified, or after they are financially qualified and they understand what they want to do, understand you understand what they need to do, and you feel like, okay, this is actually going to work, get them off the money and bring them back to their dream. Okay, so this is what I do. Like after you realize they have the money, be like, hey, that dream of you being, making six figures, that would be pretty cool, huh? They'd be like, yeah, that would be pretty cool. Like, okay, well, what would that mean for you if you actually pull that off? And bro, I get the best answers. Like, this is like the most heartwarming part for me, because it brings them back to like what they really want to do, but it also kind of charges their heart into like actually doing, like, what would that mean for you if you actually pulled that off? And it's like, I mean, that would mean the world to me. Or like, man, I could be free. Like, you would get the best kind of answers, man. Like, and I love that part, because like this is what we're trying to do. We're trying to get people out of the matrix, and into the life that they really want to live, right? So people get caught up on the money, but you really need to get them back to their dream. Otherwise, they won't actually, funnel the money over. And the last question is, are you committed to and you're committed to making that happen, right? And you already know that they're committed, but if they say yes to that question, it's going to be so hard for them to double back on not doing it, because they literally just told you, yes, this would mean the world to me. And yes, I'm committed to doing it. So they have to hop on a call. They're going to feel this cognitive dissonance. And we're doing that on purpose, because we want them to feel the dissonance when they decide to go back to the person that they already are, right? You want them to feel the resonance when they're going in the direction towards the person they want to be. That's the whole point. That's why we're casting these spells on people, because we want to make them feel bad for going back on what they said. You know what I mean? If they really are genuinely saying it. And this is how I got to 100K, guys. Like, it's really not that hard. I just want to break it down very on a surgical level, so you guys understand this. And if you do this right, stuff like this happens. Okay, so this is, if you don't know how to read like sales reports, basically the closer, his name is Jack. I was the setter for that. We closed. This person paid in full. They paid $4,000. These were the notes, right? It was a crazy objection handle. Fully got around her fear with the future pace reframe. So she got afraid about it. Jack brought her back to what the third eye, right? Where do you really want to be? Like, don't double back. You already told us that you wanted to go here. So why are you doubling back, right? Think about the individual that you want to be, right? She signed it. The whole process from set to close was 2 hours. Okay. She had barely any idea who we were 2 hours ago. And then 2 hours in, she paid $4,000, because we got her to open up. We got her to understand, like, where do you want to be? Where are you at right now? What do you think you need help with? Are you committed to making this happen? Gracefully, right? We didn't force her to do this. She answered all of her questions because she wanted to. Got her open up, $4,000 in 2 hours, right? You can do this. And now that you know this, now that you have this power or whatever, or now that you understand, just use it ethically. And I'll leave you with this. For what does it profit a man to gain the world and forfeit his soul? Okay. I'm not even going to explain that. I'm going to leave you to understand that for yourself. But I'll give you a little hint. There ain't no rest for the wicked. There ain't no rest for the wicked. All right. So hit my IG if you have any questions. I hope this all made sense. Happy Saturday. I love you. Peace.